We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say, people mean more.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say, people mean more.
We would like to
Just like down.
Now.
It's 7 a.m.
It's 7 a.m. Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
for 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and JJ Bob.
There's moments in series that feel game-changing, that feel series-defining. And 7-game series provide a lot of opportunities. There's games that could just go out the window and just blow up, and then you're just on to the next one. There is a lot of ebbs and flows. It's a roller coaster ride when you're playing 7-game series in the postseason. But last night, was one of those defining moments in a series for the Los Angeles Lakers. It was a missed opportunity. Ja Morant hurt hand, not playing. The Lakers up 1-0 in the series. They needed their star. They needed Anthony Davis to take over, and they were not prepared. And you tip your cap to the Memphis Grizzlies because this team knows what to do. Without Ja Morant in the lineup in the playoffs and regular season in the last few years, this team is 33-17. Memphis was not going to go away quietly just because the Los Angeles Lakers showed up wearing their Laker jerseys with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. This still is a team with some warts, and you saw it last night. Slow start. They were down by 20 points in the third quarter because the Grizzlies, they're not going to roll over, so you got to be ready to go, even in a 7-game series. But the Lakers, this is what they're going to do. They're going to play a long, dragging-out series because that's who they are, and the Memphis Grizzlies just reminded you who they are. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, A. Marie, and joined by, we could call him our Tennessee Titans insider, or Nashville insider on the road, but hanging out with us this morning. It is our quarterback, former Lobo, Ned James. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up? How's everybody doing? I feel like Willie Nelson, man, down here in country music land on the road again.
On the road again. Well, maybe we'll get some insider information from the Titans at some point in time, as we got a whole lot to get to this morning. But, not far from you in Memphis, the Grizzlies, big-time game last night. So here's what is so frustrating if you're the Lakers, because you got the role player performance in game one. Austin Reeves, Hachimura, they went off. They got you game one. So you knew game two, it was going to be more focused on the stars. It was one of those games that it was going to have to be LeBron James and Anthony Davis setting the tone. And for AD, he was 4-14 from the field. There's 13 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 blocks. But you need more than that. You got to be aggressive. This is a moment in a 7-game series to take control, to put Memphis on their heels. But all credit to the Grizzlies because they came out ready to go. No Ja Morant, no problem for them because they got their role player game in Xavier Tillman, who steps up into the starting lineup and has a huge game with 22 points and 10 of 13 field goal. And like I said, Ned, yes, it's a long series, but this is one of those moments that if you're the Lakers, you're the 7th seed, you're talking a big game, you want to see them go out there and make a statement and capitalize with Ja Morant not in the lineup.
Yeah, but it's like anything else, everything regresses back to the mean. I mean, the Lakers are a good team, yeah, but they're eventually going to be the Lakers that were a play-in team that's playing one of the top-tier teams, and that showed. I mean, I know Austin Reeves has been getting a lot of accolades and Hachimura and all those guys, but there's a reason why the Memphis Grizzlies had one of the top seeds in the West, and it's because they're a pretty good team. And so I just think this game just further showed that in all the other games as well that these guys are seeded tops in the conferences because of their talent, all around talent, and we're going to see it. When you start talking about some of these other games, it's more of the same thing. The teams are who we thought they were going to be, and they're essentially. The Memphis Grizzlies, I mean, despite most people thinking that they were going to be in trouble without Ja Morant, I guess the betting favorites, just the guys I talked to around here, they were still betting on Memphis to win the game. So it didn't seem like, as much of a jolt that they were beaten by the Lakers in the first game that, I might have thought. But I guess these basketball aficionados, people who know basketball better than I do, understand that, it's really kind of a complicated thing when it comes to these teams that are trying to upset these top tier teams.
And Memphis is an interesting case because Ja Morant absolutely flashes star potential. And he can have his big games. He can be a legitimate scorer, but Memphis isn't built around Ja Morant. And they've proven that the last 2 years when he's not in the lineup, they're still a really competitive team, and it happened last year in the postseason when Ja Morant didn't play against the Warriors, and Memphis was still really competitive in that playoff series because while Ja Morant is a really good player, this team still has the defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson. I think Desmond Bane's actually a more consistent player than Ja Morant. And so while they're without their star, they have found an identity of who they are, going back to your point. That's how a team throughout the season can be the second best team in the Western Conference.
Yeah, and it's a combination of a lot of things. It's coaching as well as the players. I mean, I thought, I think the coaching in Memphis was a little bit sharper than it was in LA, for LA, I should say, in this game. And, having the home court really does help. I mean, you can kind of regroup after that first game and, guys are at home, guys kind of get settled in and realize that, hey, the playoffs are going to be a little bit, more intense than we probably thought it was going to be, even though we were in it last year. We need to buckle down and take this thing serious. And I think that's what Memphis did. And they came back and showed why they were one of the top seeded teams in the Western Conference.
103-93, the victory for the Grizzlies last night, evening that series at one game apiece. Now, there's characters on every team in every league. And one of those guys is Dillon Brooks. And Dillon Brooks is trying to become an agitator himself. He's flashy. He talks a big game. He's a trash talker. And he's trying to get under the skin of one LeBron James. Last night, LeBron, 28 points, 12 rebounds, 12 of 23 from the field, but just 1 of 8 from 3. And that's what Memphis did a good job, forcing LeBron to take a lot of threes. And those guys that were hitting them in game 1 did not shoot a good percentage, just 26% for the Lakers as a team. But Dillon Brooks getting a little feisty, and he had some words for LeBron James. This is one of those little things. Like, you think you're going to get in the head of LeBron? Probably not if you're Dillon Brooks, but he had a message for LBJ. So Dillon Brooks ain't going to respect LeBron James until he gives him a 40-piece. And those are the little things you're going to get in this series. Dillon Brooks talking a big game, Memphis confident, and here we go, back to L.A.
Yeah, it's these young guys, just trying to pick on the old man. Leave LeBron James in his wheelchair and his cane alone. Leave the old guy alone. You young whippersnapper, you. I just think these young guys, they see themselves athletically, just much superior than the elder statesman, LeBron James. And, they see that LeBron, does things at times to try to get inside the head of the opposing team. And, this is how young people respond. And so, I mean, I think LeBron kind of understands the game and understands what Dillon's trying to do, and Dillon knows what LeBron's trying to do. And I think it's all fun and games. I don't think he really disrespects LeBron James. He understands LeBron James' strength, and I think he's just going to try to get in his head a little bit just to give the team a little bit of an edge.
Bear, but yeah, he spent his post game in his locker poking the bear. That's a fun one because what the Los Angeles Lakers are trying to do, and it's early. It's very young in these play-in tournament era, but no team that had to play in the play-in has won an NBA playoff series yet. And this was one. A lot of people say, looking at the Lakers, the way AD is playing LeBron, but Memphis is not going to roll over or go quietly. What we saw last night in Denver was a different statement game. The Nuggets blowing a huge lead. They had a 21-point lead in the second half. The Timberwolves going a 28-10 run in the third quarter, but then a strong fourth quarter for the top seed Denver Nuggets, fueled by Michael Porter Jr. and someone that Dillon Brooks better pay attention to, because Jamal Murray dropped 40-piece on the Minnesota Timberwolves, 122-113 victory for the Nuggets. And that's one of those games. You're at home. You're the 1 seed. Yeah, you're going to be challenged a little bit, but can't lose that game when you have a 21-point lead in the second half. So the Nuggets come back to get that victory. NBA playoff action. It is exciting. It's just round 1, but the drama is building. How is Golden State going to respond? What are they saying post the Draymond Green suspension as they get ready to play game 3 at home against the Sacramento Kings, down 2-0 in that series. 505-246-0610. That is the 377 Brewery hotline and the Sports Animal text line this morning. You can find us on the social media. Follow the Sports Animal at 610KNML on the Twitter, on the Instagram. You can also find us at parttime_bro_JJ Buck. Emails this morning, jj@sportsanimalabq.com. So plenty of ways for you to get involved throughout your morning as we roll on here on the opening drive. Coming up at 8:45, we got day baseball today. The Isotopes and the OKC Dodgers. And Nolan Jones, an outfielder for the Topes, who's off to an incredible start to the season, hitting .396, 7 home runs. Just came back from spending the weekend up with the Rockies. He's going to join us at 8:45. It is the opening drive here on the Sports Animal.
Wrestling fans, feel the podcast heat. Woo! Join Hall of Fame wrestlers every week sharing their stories from the past. And
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
So the NBA world was not at all on the same page. They were on the side of Draymond Green. A lot of the talking heads surprised, frustrated, upset with the NBA, their decision to come down and suspend Draymond Green. They thought, and a lot of people thought, and I eventually came around to the fact that Draymond, he got thrown out of the game. Bad altercation between him and Sabonis, just looked bad, stomping on the dude, yelling at the fans. But you got kicked out of the game. The team lost. Probably get a nice envelope from the NBA, a little bit of a fine, and you move on. However, the NBA said, hold up. Dre, we're going to hold this one against you. Because we're pulling out your record. And, there's multiple strikes here. You're going to sit down for Game 3 as Sacramento takes a 2-0 series lead to Golden State tonight. And the Warriors have to deal with it. The decision was made. Draymond Green is not playing Game 3. And you know what? I'm not going to cry a river for Draymond Green. He puts himself in this situation. It's the way he wants to play, and the bad comes with the good that he brings to the table. The Warriors know that, and now they have to figure out a way to respond tonight against a Kings team that has a unanimous NBA Coach of the Year in Mike Brown, the clutch player of the year, and De'Aaron Fox. And don't be burying the lead with just a Draymond Green suspension. The Sacramento Kings outplayed the Golden State Warriors in the fourth quarter in Game 1 and 2. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, A. Marie, our quarterback, Ned James with you this morning. Yesterday, Warriors head coach Steve Kerr said he was extremely surprised at the suspension. Now, Draymond Green did practice. He talked with his teammates on Wednesday, will not be playing today. And Kerr said, quote, there's no time to spend worrying about it, thinking about it, or complaining. It doesn't matter. But, Ned, when you see a guy like Draymond Green do something a little off script, it's no surprise that he's suspended, and it's another moment the Warriors got to deal with.
Yeah, it was a real immature moment on his part. I don't think it was as egregious as a suspension would warrant, but yet and still it was still immature for him to respond that way after having his foot grabbed. But they've seen this before. They know this act really well, and so they're gonna, they take appropriate measures. They understand that these things happen with Draymond. They have to, move on and get themselves ready to win a game. They understand the seriousness of being down 0-2. And I think the Golden State Warriors will respond. But I'll tell you what, this Sacramento team, this De'Aaron Fox is special now. So we're going to see if he's able to take his act on the road. He looked really, really, really good at home. But the Warriors are going to be a tough out on their home court.
And this is one, coming into the postseason, it was a classic. Hey, the Kings, great regular season, but you're not that team yet. You got to take your lumps. You got to go to the playoffs and learn how to win, because the Warriors, they're champions. They've been there. They've done that. And that's why so many people were leaning to Golden State in this series. And it's 2 games. But it's a place that Steph Curry in this era, in this run with the Golden State Warriors in the postseason, they have never been down.
Ever.
2-0 in a series. And now you're without Draymond Green. Now, this is another moment in their story, because I don't think a lot of people saw last year's title run coming for this team, and they rose up and did something. And there's still enough left in the tank where you don't want to count out the Golden State Warriors, but this is legitimate. The warning light is on. Things are flashing, and you better respond right now.
Well, this is what happens to the king when the princes are looking at the throne. You got these young cats. They want to get they want to get in the castle. They want that championship. And so this is Steph Curry and those guys, they've been around the block a little bit, so they're getting up there in age. And so these are the young guys, these are the young guns coming at them. They should be able to withstand this with their maturity and with their playoff experience. But we'll see. This De'Aaron Fox looks like the real deal. So they're going to have to come up with something to stop him. I think he's kind of the main key. I think once he gets going, I think it gets the other guys on that team going. But we'll see. On the road, it's a little tougher.
This one, because the Warriors, they've been there, done that with Draymond Green. And Steve Kerr also said yesterday, quote, "I've said it many times, we don't have a single championship here without Draymond Green." And that's the truth. He's crossed the line over the years, and that's part of it. We will go to bat for Draymond and go to battle with him every day of the week. So this is nothing new when we've seen it. And Draymond Green, whether it's been a flagrant foul or the foul limit, he's been fouled out of 12 playoff games in his NBA career. And it's the truth. Like the Warriors with Draymond Green, they win basketball games. He is an important part to this puzzle, but this is also a moment where they're already in a hole. And now they face a suspension. And how's this team going to rally? Because the future, this is the end of the window. There's not many more runs left in this group.
Yeah. The beauty of this is that they're only an hour and a half apart. Like the cities are not that far apart. So it makes it intriguing how many Sacramento Kings fans will show up in Oakland for this game, or San Francisco where they play at against the Warriors. So I like it. I mean, it's a close rivalry game. It's like almost a high school rivalry game, just an hour up the road. So we'll see what happens this next game. But I'm excited to see if the young guns can take the veterans down.
505-246-0610, 377 Brewery Hotline, the Sports Animal text line this morning. Do the Kings put the Warriors in the biggest hole that they've been in? Could they be down 3-0? Could they? Absolutely. But the question is, will they be? Or do the Warriors have a response in them? The Splash Brothers, who's going to step up? Could be a Jordan Poole game, but it's the things inside, the rebounding, the assists, the defense that you just can't cover up by putting another shooter on the floor if you are the Warriors. So yesterday, we talked about Deuce Benjamin, now the former New Mexico State Aggie, going into the transfer portal, but a lawsuit was filed by 2 former New Mexico State basketball players against many members of the university. And the reason why comes out. We heard about the allegations, the hazing. Well, it rose to much more than that. And why this lawsuit had to be filed, and what does it mean for those involved with New Mexico State and Aggie basketball moving forward. That's next here on the opening drive, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Brought to you by New Balance.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, me.
The rest of the season, when you shut down a program, there's going to be more. And we knew with New Mexico State, some people might have thought that everyone was cleared out, you're moving on. But with a lawsuit that was filed yesterday, it brings to light the allegations that were serious enough. That's why New Mexico State decided to shut down the program, and it's not done. And there's a lot of talk around why is it happening now, the timing of it for one of the players involved with the stories that we saw over the last couple of days. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Amory, or quarterback Ned James with you this morning. But two New Mexico State University basketball players claim that they were sexually assaulted and humiliated repeatedly by three of their former teammates. And then when they approached the coaches about the alleged abuse, nothing was done. In a lawsuit that was filed on Wednesday against university officials, basketball coaches, and players in connection with these assault allegations, was filed by William Deuce Benjamin Jr. and Shakiro Odunuwu, two players that were on the team last year. It was filed in the state district court against New Mexico State Board of Regents, former head coach Greg Heyer, assistant coach Dominic Taylor. The players were Kim Aiken Jr., Dr. Bradley, and DeShandre Washington. And now some of the allegations include that Aiken, Bradley, and Washington repeatedly targeted the two players, degraded them repeatedly, and at times physically pinned the players down and touched them in ways that rose to sexual assault, according to the lawsuit. And this is, a situation where I've already seen it, and some people are saying, well, this was only filed because the new head coach told Deuce Benjamin to find another place to play basketball. That the day after that Deuce Benjamin announces that he's in the transfer portal, in his statement, he said, the new coach told me to move on. That's the only reason why this lawsuit was filed. I don't believe that. I don't feel that way, because with these allegations, and when New Mexico State shut down that basketball program and they had that press conference, they didn't use the word allegedly all that much. They said things happened, we shut it down, we're addressing it. This lawsuit had to be filed. If these things occurred to these players, and they're putting their name on it, like these two athletes are putting their name on this lawsuit against these others. And that's a big thing in this too, because people will say, oh, they're just bitter. This kid's just bitter, got kicked off the team. No, we know Ish went down at New Mexico State. This stuff was not about the Mike Peake incident and everything that went on. This stuff was outside of that. This is the stuff that also led to shutting down of that program. And with these allegations that are out there, it's why the program had to be shut down. And when you look at everyone involved, if this did happen and there was assault by players, it was brought to the attention of coaches and that they did nothing, everyone involved in this needs to be done. Like, this should end your collegiate basketball career if you're one of those players that is accused of this. And also, if you're one of those coaches, you should never be coaching basketball around kids again.
Well, when you're dealing with these billion-dollar institutions of learning, of higher learning, they call them, but now they're enterprises, there's a really, I don't know how to put this. There's a kind of a tricky deal here when it comes to investigating. How do you investigate yourself? I mean, how do you investigate crimes? Is this a crime? Should it have been reported as a crime? Is it just kids behaving like kids? Is it I just can't get my arms around this whole thing, how big this is, particularly because it involves an academic institution, that's supposed to be, for higher learning. Was it a hazing incident that got out of control that should be prosecuted as a crime? Is it something that, these young men felt like they were somehow violated, or the young men who are being accused of violating these guys just have no rights, that they should have never even just put their hands on the young men? That's what we're talking about here. That's where this whole investigation, this whole lawsuit, all this stuff is headed to. Now, the university has to protect the integrity of this university, so that's why they were shutting down the basketball program, because this isn't an academic institution. I mean, these young men are here to learn, and this is not, this kind of behavior is borderline criminal. Do we treat it as criminal? Do we treat it as hazing? They keep using the word hazing. Is it not hazing? Is it a crime? But we'll see. We're going to see here in the next couple of years how the university treats it, and how the judicial system treats it.
The hazing. When you read these allegations, and what happens a lot. People use the term hazing to cover up bad acts, like, oh, they're just hazing. No, like this, they don't shut down that program if they don't feel that there's something serious there. And this is why, regardless of Deuce Benjamin ending the transfer portal or not, those players had to file this lawsuit. Now, it still has to go through the process. And when you read the stuff that they're alleging, it does frustrate you. You get upset. You get a little angry. And we'll have to mention, no charges have been filed in connection with any of those that have been accused in a lawsuit, as kind of what you just brought up, Ned. What are the next steps? But this is incredibly frustrating, and one where I don't think it's just because Deuce Benjamin was told to transfer that now they're suing the school. And I've seen that. And people say, well, the kid is just lashing out now. No, this has to be brought to light if these incidents did happen. And everyone has to be held accountable for these serious assault allegations. And once again, this isn't one where it's just an unnamed lawsuit. Like, they put their names on it. And these are serious things that change the lives of all these players. And I'm not downplaying that. I understand. We know how serious false allegations can be. We understand that. But this is also one where those two players that were alleging assault, they put their names on this. It's out there. And so they're not running from it. And so they are out there in this with everyone else. And of course, University released a statement and said, quote, while New Mexico State does not comment on pending litigation, we want to assure everyone that this issue is being taken seriously. That was spokesman Justin Bannister, adding, as we announced earlier this year, the university is working with a law firm to look into these allegations. Their work is underway and running in parallel to our own internal investigation into this matter.
Yeah. So you're investigating yourself. So, and that's, typically what happens in academic institutions. Does it rise to the level? That's what we're going to find out.
505-246-0610. That is a 377 Brewery hotline, the Sports Animal text line. And we're learning more and more about the seriousness of what went down at New Mexico State in their year of turmoil, their year of seeing an entire basketball program ripped down to the studs. And Jason Hooten, the new head coach, he has a lot of work to do. He's rebuilding a roster, but outside of that, there are serious things that need to be addressed moving forward for those parties that were involved. We'll get your thoughts on that. Let's continue. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your coverage from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support.
The 377 Brewery Hotline, the Sports Animal text line, and there's a lot to take in reading this story regarding New Mexico State, the lawsuit that was filed by two players against the New Mexico State Board of Regents, former head coach Greg Heyer, assistant coach Dominic Taylor, and the players Kim Aiken Jr., Dr. Bradley, and Deshandre Washington. The reaction is coming in. JJ Buck Amory, our quarterback Ned James with you this morning. This is from Bill via the email. Hit me up, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. He says, if they want to clean up this mess, Mario Mocha, the athletic director, has to go. He had to have known what was going on. Benjamin must have told the athletic director what was going on. A total embarrassment for New Mexico. And then on the Sports Animal text line, OMG, how can Mario Mocha not be named in that lawsuit? wow. And there's two different things going on for New Mexico State. You have the new coaching staff that is trying to rebuild the program, and your basketball team's trying to move forward. But with these allegations, regardless of Deuce Benjamin, if he was told to stay or told to leave, this is one that had to be addressed. And this lawsuit is serious. It's one that is going to take some time. And there's names on it all over the place. And when your names are out there, even in allegations, we know how damning that can be. But with something that rises to the level of sexual assault, we got to take that term hazing out of there. And this is something that this lawsuit had to be filed. The alleged victims, hey, they put their name on it. And so they're not trying to hide. They're not trying to run from it and then throw everyone else out there. They're going to be at the forefront of this. And all these names are out there. And it's serious stuff. And it's one that when the program was shut down and there's rumors and people started to hear some stuff, you figured, what is really going on? Was it just lack of institutional control? The answer is yes. And it was so much more than just that the tragic incident we saw with Mike Peake getting jumped, someone losing their life, the guns involved, the Mexico State team bouncing. This was the thing that ultimately shut the program down. And like you said, Ned, it's one where you got to look at yourself as New Mexico State. And there were a lot of poor decisions that were made. And the one thing about, I'm looking at this story, and if any of these incidents occurred, then this lawsuit had to be filed. These people need to be held accountable for their actions. If you're talking about coaches, about players that are trying to continue their collegiate career, Dr. Bradley, one of those players, committed to Northern Illinois. Now, does that mean that he is guilty just because a lawsuit was filed? No. But the truth in this instance has to be found out, because if we're talking about especially coaches too, I don't want them anywhere near even other college kids at this point in time, or kids or coaching, if they did indeed know about this stuff and didn't do a thing.
Yeah, the criminal complaint is something that I'm curious to see what transpires there, because that's separate from the university. And the lawsuit is one of those things we have to, kind of, understand and maybe, take with a grain of salt, because, how they go about this lawsuit, who is charged, like the one texter commented, it starts at the top. I mean, how is the athletic director not involved in this? Not like Mario Mocha, but at the same time, everything starts at the top. I mean, guys are, they're citing certain people within this investigation. The criminal part of it is not revealed in any way, and so we don't know if there was any criminality to it. And so, there we go with the hazing, and I mean, you hear sexual assault, those are buzzwords, and so we got to kind of, take a step back and maybe wait and see if it actually rose to that level. I would kind of hold judgment for now until we see, the actual facts come out of what actually took place, and if it rises to the level of these guys being assaulted.
You're right, and this is just a lawsuit that was filed, and right now no criminal charges have been filed in connection to the incidents with any that have been named, and that's understandable, and that's why you still have to be fair in this conversation, even with as frustrating as these allegations, as serious as these allegations are. But that's why I pointed out too, there's names on it on both sides, and if you're going to come out there and throw all this at a university, at players, and not put your name on it, that's when people will get really skeptical and go, okay, what is really going on here? Is it just they told a kid to move on, and so he's all upset and he's frustrated? No, there was serious things that went on, and now those allegations, got to get to the bottom of it. And that's why this lawsuit came down.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to do, and I think that's they want to move on. They want to move. This is, like I said, it's $1 billion enterprise, and they're losing lots of money as a result of this being out there. The fact that they dropped the basketball program and they didn't keep it dropped shows you how important the revenue is for basketball, And so that's why they brought it back. And the investigations and the civil suits and all those things will be settled.
505-246-0610, the 377 Brewery Hotline. It's also the Sports Animal text line. This morning, you can send your emails, jj@sportsanimalabq.com. We do got some day baseball for you here on the Sports Animal. 11:05 first pitch this morning, the Topes and the OKC Dodgers. We're going to be joined by outfielder Nolan Jones, the 24-year-old, off to an unbelievable start this season. His first year with the Colorado Rockies organization, he's hitting .396. He's got 7 home runs. He spent the weekend up in Colorado. Didn't get a chance to play, but Nolan Jones is definitely someone that can contribute for the Rockies moving forward. He had some time playing for the Guardians last year. He's a big dude. He's got some pop in his bat. Really looking forward to the conversation, too, about what it's like for a kid that grew up in Pennsylvania, went to Virginia, minor league ball was with Cleveland. So he's in the organization. He's on the East Coast and Midwest, and then boom, it's a shock to the system being sent to the Rockies and coming to the Southwest. So looking for that conversation with Nolan Jones coming up at 8:45 this morning. And speaking of baseball, we got a little drama yesterday. Mets and Dodgers series. Max Scherzer, the sticky icky, well, not the icky, but the sticky on the glove. He got ejected after being checked multiple times. He says, yo, it was just rosin. I was sweaty. We know over the last year or so that's been a huge thing for Major League Baseball, is just checking these pictures.
Think the protest too much. I think Scherzer was kind of, playing himself with the whole antics. These officials this year were directed to look for this type of stuff, and they're looking and catching now. They knew it was there last year, and it's like everything, it's like with Tom the Cheater Brady. Like, everybody thinks all of a sudden they just catch you. Okay, you're deflating footballs. Okay, you've got the icky sticky on your glove. No, they warn you. They tell you the year before, okay, we know what you're doing. We're coming to get you. You need to stop it. Now stop that, young man. And then these guys believe, hey, this gives them the edge. They keep doing it. They get caught. Now all of a sudden they're the victims. So here we go. Okay, Scherzer, we're going to see this whole thing play out. We'll see where it goes. And there you have it.
The Mets
got thrown out of the game.
Yeah, the Mets were victorious over the Dodgers 5-3 yesterday. But here's the thing, too, is that's an immediate 10-game suspension. That if you are ejected from a game because the umpires deem that you have a substance that is illegal that you are using, it's an immediate 10-game suspension. So there's 2 starts right out the window for Max Scherzer. Now you can appeal that suspension, but that's why they get so upset, because immediately you're down 10 games.
You had Adolph on here yesterday, the assistant district attorney, talking about how, the judges will tell you now, I'm going to give you another chance. But if you come back and see me again, we're going to get you. And that's what happened to those guys.
They're going to get you. 505-246-0610, the 377 Brewery Hotline. You can also catch us on ProView Networks. Adrian holding it down, Comcast Channel 26, and streaming online. The top quarterbacks in the draft.
Yeah,
could we
football,
see one of them actually slide? What is up with who I think is the best quarterback in the draft but could fall? What is going on? It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For 5 years running, it's the OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and JJ Bond.
Your head has to be on a swivel. Not if you're catching a slant in the middle of the field. But it's NFL draft season. You cannot believe every headline. You cannot go hook, line, and sinker with the stories that come out because you don't know if it's coming from agents, if it's coming from teams. What is the reason behind a prospect falling, behind someone rising up the draft boards? Who's moving those chess pieces? Because it is NFL draft season. A week from today,
yes,
the first round, Commissioner Roger Goodell will be in Kansas City welcoming you to the NFL draft, announcing the number one overall pick, which is held by the Carolina Panthers. Which quarterback is it going to be? And then the dominoes that fall from there. It's the opening drive. JJ Buck Amory, our quarterback, Ned James. Maybe give us some inside information.
Yeah, we've been waiting
Tennessee
all
Titans.
week. We've been waiting all week,
He's
Ned
there
James.
in Nashville.
Oh.
Who knows? He's going to have to hit up his sources.
What's happening with that quarterback position, Ned James?
Oh, yeah. I got to see Teddy Hill at the Hall of Fame charitable event that they had here for the Covenant shooting victims in Nashville. And Teddy Hill looks good for a 35-year-old. I don't know if 35-year-old RPO guys are the thing nowadays, but we've had that discussion. But, it was with Javon Curse a couple days last week. So that was fun hanging out with Javon, the freak, in Florida, grad. Texted Eddie Nunez about that because he said he had a better basketball game than Eddie's. And Javon still looks like he can play football from Florida, all the Florida Gator guys here. But, got to talking about Anthony Richardson, the Javon, who's been, down in Florida. And, he's watched him. And he doesn't buy the fact that he's a first-round draft pick quarterback. So just little things like that, little tidbits that I'm getting from guys that, and then talking to guys around the league a little bit, some of the guys that I know from the NFL league office, just about how these quarterbacks are, they rise and fall every year, the same thing. You just never know with quarterbacks. I just think, the people have their boards already set, so we don't know where they're going to go based on quarterback need or how they rate certain players and how high a guy is rated as far as talent, and if they could just take the talent over positional need. We'll see.
Of course, you being a quarterback, you understand the importance of that position in the game. And we know the need for a quarterback. It elevates some of these guys who might not be first-round talents or even top 5 talents, but you have a need at that position, and you're going to go. And there's 5 names that are looking like first-round quarterbacks because of that this season. Of course, the top 2, C.J. Stroud, Ohio State, Bryce Young, Alabama. Then we're talking about an Anthony Richardson from Florida. We're talking about a Will Levis from Kentucky. And then Hendon Hooker, the Tennessee quarterback, even though coming off the ACL injury, a lot of people like his trades. How about that? Look at all those SEC quarterbacks in the conversation. But to me, I am hyper-focused on C.J. Stroud because in my not quarterback playing ranking eye test, he's my QB1. He's got the size. He's 6'3". He can make every throw. He's got the athleticism. I think it's insane the goalpost moving that people are doing with C.J. Stroud. Like, oh, the dude doesn't run enough. Where's that athleticism? It's like, wait a second. You yell that quarterbacks run too much, and that becomes a problem. Now you're just saying this guy doesn't run enough. No, I like that he just sat in the pocket, absolutely destroyed teams with all the talent that was around him. But he made the throws, and then in the Georgia game, he's like, oh, I got to make some plays outside the pocket. He did. That's why I'm sold on C.J. Stroud. And Bryce Young, it's legitimate. The dude has the best pocket awareness in the draft, but he's small. Like, you can't deny he's a small dude that's going to be getting hit by large men in the NFL. But the thing that's really surprising me...
Ned doesn't like the small quarterback. I know that. The Mighty Mouse.
I like the way JJ framed that, though. That was good.
It's just one where I'm the whole monologue that I said, I have to start pumping the brakes a little bit because I'm seeing a lot of stuff kind of pushing C.J. Stroud down. Oh, did he ghost the Manning Passing Academy? Are there questions about this? To me, if I'm Houston, I'm taking whichever one of those guys is not selected number 1. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, it seems so simple. But this week, the odds moved. There's been a lot of talk about the Houston Texans taking Will Anderson, the edge rusher from Alabama, and then that C.J. Stroud could then fall. Well, falling would be to 4. And if the Indianapolis Colts were to be able to select C.J. Stroud
they will be
while
very
not
happy.
Moving from 4, they would be in position to be one of the luckiest franchises in the NFL. And why is that? No, C.J. Stroud, it's uncertain. It's still a coin flip at 50-50. The guy that I think is the best quarterback in this draft could end up being the worst in terms of it just doesn't work for him in a situation. We know that. We understand that. But if you're the Colts and you don't have to move to get who I think is the best quarterback in the draft, count your lucky stars because this is a franchise that got it right with Peyton Manning. And I know there was debate, Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf that year. They could have messed that one up, but they got Peyton Manning. Fast forward to the number 1 pick in 2012, they land Andrew Luck. Now, Luck steps away earlier from football, but he gave them some great years at the quarterback position. And then if at 4, you could get who I think is the best quarterback in the draft, that is some of the best luck for a franchise. Now, he's got to go out there and earn it. But what do you think about C.J. Stroud compared to Bryce Young in this draft?
Well, you are who you are. I mean, there's a reason why Bryant was rated a little bit higher than C.J. Stroud, and it's talent, it's skill, it's a lot of things. If you see the movie Draft Day, Kevin Costner does a good job of that movie Draft Day, where he decides on a guy and he puts the guy's name in his pocket and he carries it around with him the whole time. because that's essentially what you have to do. And the decision makers have to do that. The people who decide. Now, you don't know who's deciding. Who's deciding on the pick? That's why people are saying, hey, C.J. Stroud, maybe he's the guy, maybe he's not the guy. You don't know what Houston's thinking because the guy who's making the decision in Houston is walking around with the name of the guy they're going to pick in his pocket, and nobody knows who that is.
GM? Is it the coach?
Right. And you never know who that is. Is it the homeless guy outside that the owner decides he wants to get his opinion? If he says he's going to draft, this quarterback, then we should draft him. So you just never know. But with C.J. Stroud, those things happen, when you're leading up to the draft. All these things come out, things leak about even the top players. So you really can't worry about that. The draft is already set. Most teams already know. They have the players ranked by position. They have the players ranked by who's the best possible player to come into the NFL based from 1 to 100 on their boards. They know everything's scaled from salaries, who's making what on their team right now that they're possibly going to lose at the end of the season because of salary cap restrictions or because they don't think this person deserves the kind of money they're going to be demanding. Agents are involved. There's all kinds of, just different. That's what makes it so intriguing, and that's what makes it, people really kind of wonder, who's going to really be picked because you just never really know because of all those factors involved. But C.J. Stroud in the quarterback position, it's like any other position. It's just you have to pick based on the talent level and the need. Does the need fit the talent level? Sure. We need a quarterback at 2, Houston. We've got to draft a quarterback. Do we have a agent out there that's not able to work with our ownership group or our management, and he's representing C.J. Stroud, and we don't want to deal with him, so we're going to have to take this other quarterback because we know it's going to be a difficult negotiation with this guy. All those things are involved, and so I don't think it's really a matter of what C.J. Stroud is. I think they've always been what they are. You see the film. Some guys look better on tape. Some guys look better at their pro day. Some guys look better at the AAU event called the Combine. And so you just, guys have to determine what fits their need and what, their star interest is. And so that's where they go. But it usually slots the way, it's predicted to slot. I don't see C.J. Stroud falling, to 4. He may fall to 4. If so, then someone will get a quality young quarterback. But until that day comes, you just don't know. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of it.
And it's also why we love the NFL draft. Why NFL fans love the draft is because it's about hope. And hope is the only thing that keeps you going as a sports fan. It sure as heck isn't winning all these championships all the time because that ain't happening for everybody. But it's the hope.
Especially people who win the draft. It's some people's Super Bowl, JJ Buck.
It's the number one pick. It's the hope that this player is going to change the franchise. Not only do we love football, we love the draft.
As much as I miss the NFL, I don't miss the draft.
Yeah.
The
it's
draft,
a grind, right?
Really?
Oh my goodness! And your buddies call you all the time because they think it's the greatest thing, and you're like, "This is just brutal." Because you're sitting in the office all day. You got to wait on a pick that you probably know, oh, okay, we picked them, yay, and then 30 seconds later it's over with. Now you got to wait another 3 hours before if there's a trade or something, and now it's 3 days. Before it was just one day, and you were there from 6 in the morning to 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Now you got to come in at 6 in the morning until midnight, and then you got to do it for 3 days because now you're wondering if there's going to be trades, if there's going to be some sort of free agent, deal or whatever going on. So, as a coach, that's the one thing you do miss. You don't miss is the draft, but a lot of the other stuff is fun, and it's great when you have new players come in and you're trying to put your team together, and the optimism for the season is always there. And it's there at every level, but the draft, NFL draft, is definitely special, and that's why it gets the ratings that it gets.
Hope. We all want hope. We all just want a chance to see the team we root for compete, maybe win some games, and that's what the NFL draft brings. It gives you some hope, add new talent to your franchise. When we come back on the other side, what will the top 5 look like? What should you be doing as an NFL franchise if you have a top 10 pick? And the strategy that Houston could use, there's 2 different ways they could go. And I think it's fascinating look at how teams could view the quarterback position moving forward. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
I want to tell you about John Thomas Jewelers. The best, most impressive.
There's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. It's upstairs, goes to the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, La Cueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. As La Cueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch, and she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get 1 run back. That one sent on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her. Whoa, what a play.
Next door or something. Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the plate. It's sliding, and that will do it. The Rams walk off the La Cueva Bears. It's a 3-run batted in shot by Dean Ellison.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Top 10 pick, you got some needs. You got a lot of holes to fill on your football team. But in my Madden career, you know, my resume as a fantastic Madden general manager and head coach and play caller on both sides of the football. The things I look to, I'm in the top 10. Grab your quarterback if you have that need. Protect your quarterback or get to the quarterback. The QB, edge rusher, offensive lineman. Those are the traits. Those are the things you need, the franchise building blocks. And that's what we can see happen. If you look at the top 5 picks, it's Carolina, Houston, Arizona, Indianapolis, Seattle. You'll probably see 3 quarterbacks and 2 rushers taking in that. And then start to see teams maybe go for need. But I love it. Protect your quarterback, get your quarterback, and get to the quarterback. It's what you got to do in the NFL. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Amory, our quarterback, Ned James. So the Houston Texans, the number 2 pick, there's 2 things they could do here. They could get Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, top 2 quarterbacks in their draft. Who knows? Maybe they actually love Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. We shall see. So they could go C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young at 2. And they also have the 12th overall pick. And then they could grab a top receiver. So they could go all in on the offense. Get your quarterback, try to find your wide receiver 1. And that's not too bad. We saw that at least in back-to-back years from Cincinnati when they got Joe Burrow. And then they went out and got Jamar Chase. Not a bad strategy. Get your quarterback, try to find an elite wide receiver. Or they could go with what the San Francisco 49ers are doing, and I call it bleep them quarterback strategy. Where it's like, we don't need a great quarterback. We just find a guy and load up on talent. And go with someone like Will Anderson, an edge rusher, at number 2. Come back with best available offensive lineman at number 12. and just really start investing in the talent of that roster. And that's what I think is fascinating, because this week we actually saw the odds change on that number 2 overall pick from a quarterback to Will Anderson. And because here's a big thing, Ned. If you're a team like Houston Texans, you're drafting number 2 because you're not good. And you got a lot of holes to fill. So instead of just throwing a young quarterback in there and not being good, what do you think about just investing in the talent and then looking at the quarterback position?
It's not a bad strategy. Some GMs and some head coaches believe in that strategy. But like a lot of people, and you're right in a lot of ways, you have to get the quarterback position fixed at some point. A lot of it, too, depends on who the coach is. If the head coach is a defensive guy, a lot of times there's a lot of pressure on them to be really good on defense. And so they tend to lean defense. But if you have a strong-willed GM and the GM gets to say on the players, a lot of times the GM will try to look at the overall need of the team to keep the team functioning at a high level, and will tend to go with the best player. And so if they rank a player better than the quarterbacks that you have on the board, then sometimes they'll go that route and they'll take that player. They'll take, whether it's a defensive end, like you said, guys who can get to the passer, keep somebody from the passer, and get the ball in the end zone. Sometimes it'll be a big time receiver if it's someone they feel is that skilled. But a lot of times the head coaches, you get these offensive guys. You mentioned Cincinnati, they've got an offensive head coach. So, he's going to want to look good. So he's got to get a quarterback. He's got to get, a good receiver. He's going to typically go. And I think in that draft, they were debating between Chase and an offensive lineman. And so that's why they went with Chase, because the quarterback had some experience with him, and he knew him, and he thought, hey, I got to have this guy. But that's what happens during the draft. You find that out, that there's some personal demons that coaches and GMs have, that they can't resist certain types of guys, and that's why a certain player may get drafted at a certain position or slot based on who has the power in picking the players. That's what you need to know. Does the GM have the power to pick the players in Houston, or with a young rookie coach, will he have some leverage in deciding and determining who that second overall draft pick is going to be? So that's what we're looking at. That's what we're staring at. That's why there's always this speculation, because the head coach is a defensive guy, that they're going to go with a defensive guy, but you just never know. They need a quarterback, so that second pick is intriguing, and that's why you're hearing all the rumors.
I'm really interested in 10 and 11. Because 10, Philadelphia Eagles. They got that pick from the New Orleans Saints. So the defending NFC champions, you just paid their quarterback Jalen Hurts. They got 2 first-round picks. They can do some work. And at number 10, a lot of people point towards Bijan Robinson, the running back from Texas, who is a top 2 to 3 prospect on a lot of people's draft boards at 10. And this is one where, if I'm Philadelphia, that is so tempting, because you got the wide receivers. That run game is important. That was a focal point of not just a quarterback run, but how good they were. Miles Sanders had a good year. He's off to Carolina. But that, to me, feels like a spot where you got to go offensive line. If you're Philadelphia, you got a top 10 pick. You're going to get one of the top offensive linemen in the draft, because this is game changer. Philadelphia right now, before and after the draft, I think is going to be the favorite in the NFC, and this is a huge moment for a team that is that good to have the 10th overall pick.
Yeah. Now, who's buying the groceries in Philadelphia? Is it the GM or is it the head coach? They're going to have to make a decision. What do they want to do? They got expiring contracts. They've got older players on their team. Do they try to fill some of those holes that they know are going to happen here within the next year or so? That's to be determined. That's what you go through these drafts for, and you have all these draft meetings. I tell you, it's a really, and I give the NFL credit, because the teams do a magnificent job, because you have scouting departments, you have personnel departments, and you all have to coordinate and meet and determine exactly who's good, who's not good, who's good in college that could really replace that guy that you don't think is very good on your team. All those things weigh into how and who you're drafting. And so just the Philadelphia Eagles, they're looking at, do we need a running back that high, or can we get, another running back later on in the draft? And we need a player to replace this player who's leaving or this player who's going to ask for too much money. When you get into those, later first-round picks, you just don't know who's going to fall to you. So you really have to go off your board a lot of times.
I think at 10, that's a huge spot for Philadelphia to add to the trenches on either side of the football, because that's what's going to help them be a competitive team, is finding the right talent there. Because even with Bijan Robinson, everyone's saying he is the next elite running back prospect. We've seen those guys. We've seen Saquon Barkley go through his challenges. Yeah, he's awesome, but he's a focal point of a team. Look, Derrick Henry, probably the best running back in the league with Tennessee. Where have they been? And so that's it's just the icing on the cake for me. Like, I can't take a running back at 10 if I'm Philadelphia, knowing I have a chance, to get an impact player on the trenches, to your point, because they got a lot of veteran guys that might have a year or two left in the tank. But if you want to maximize this window, because you just paid Jalen Hurts, you got to get young talent on those rookie deals in the trenches. Then quickly, 11, the Tennessee Titans. All the buzz is pointing towards quarterback right now for Tennessee. They took a flyer on Malik Willis in the 3rd round last year. It was not a quarterback draft. We know that. 35-year-old Ryan Tannehill, hey, he looks good. He runs that RPO offense. They don't ask him to do a lot. But the Tennessee Titans could be in position where they land a Will Levis in this draft if we see Anthony Richardson go to 4 possibly, or after that. The Tennessee Titans, I don't know if they trade up for a quarterback, but they sit there at 11. Do you like them grabbing one of these guys?
Well, to me, it depends on who the OC is and what style of offense you want to run. Say an Anthony Richardson drops to that level. Do you want a guy like that? I mean, you drafted Willis, who's similar to that, but this guy's probably a little bit bigger. Do you want that kind of a player at your quarterback position? Do you want this style? You've got Tannehill. He runs that style of play. Is he getting long in the tooth? Probably. But you just paid him a lot of money. So what do you want to do? Are you really thinking about going in that position? I'm not hearing a lot of buzz about the quarterback position. The thing that I'm hearing here in Tennessee, which is surprising, is the lack of respect for Derrick Henry, which I was surprised. I thought Derrick Henry would be kind of a rock star here, but he really isn't. I guess the running back position, JJ, you've always said it too, and I give you credit for that, because I'm an old school guy that think the running back is an important position, but you're just not going to get the love that you get from other positions, and so maybe they're looking at Bijan. I don't know. Maybe they're looking at trying to trade Derrick Henry. I don't know. It's weird. The NFL is just strange that way. Guys, tend to want to move on from guys after they feel that their numbers get too high, and Derrick Henry has a high number, and so maybe they want to get off of that number of what they're paying him. But like you said, you may not like the quarterback position, but they may like him more here.
With their style of play, that would be fascinating. Would someone take on Derrick Henry, and then would you just kind of reset with Bijan Robinson at the running back position? I think 10, 11 are really fascinating spots in the NFL draft. What say you? What are you looking forward to? What do you want to see your team do next Thursday night, first round of the NFL draft? 505-246-0610 is the 377 Brewery hotline, and the Sports Animal text line is opening drive here on the Sports Animal.
This report brought to you by Sandia Area Federal Credit Union.
Your money is safe with Sandia Area.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say, people mean more.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Got 7 games to win 4. But there's also moments that stand out, even early in a playoff series. And it felt like last night was one of those moments that the Lakers missed on. No Ja Morant. You still knew the Memphis Grizzlies were going to be ready to play, but it was a chance to take control of a series. Win 2 on the road. Everyone loved you. LA, they're picking you over Memphis. But you found out the Grizzlies, that grindhouse mentality, it's still real.
And they're young. They're not a They're not old guys.
And they've won a lot of games without Ja Morant over the last couple of seasons in the regular season.
I can't get over that.
And playoffs. The old man, LeBron James. He was good, but where was everyone else? Where was Anthony Davis? All right, you're blocking some shots, man. Game 2 for the Lakers was the star game because you got your role players winning game 1. Hachimura, Austin Reeves going off. So game 2, the star players have to set the tone. Memphis has come and they're going to respond. They're going to throw different things at you. And a missed opportunity for the Lakers, who now going to be in a long, drag-it-out series. JJ Buck, Amory, our quarterback, Ned James. But you said it, Ned. We are who we thought they were. And that's why the Lakers are the 7th seed.
And the old man is trying to keep the team alive, but he's still – those legs, the arthritis kicks in. It takes a while for them to get warmed up. It takes a while for these old guys to get wound up. You talking about yourself or
LeBron James, Ned?
Ned, I am LeBron James' age.
I know. I'm just compare it to the young guys. I'm comparing them to younger guys. That's all. And so to younger guys, when you wake up, you jump up and you sprint to the door, grab some orange juice, and you're running. Old guys, it takes us a little while to get going. It takes you just a little. It takes them just a little bit. It takes them a little while to get going in the game. If you watch LeBron with his old man beard, it's taking him a while to get going. Everybody's grabbing the ball off the goal and going. It takes him a while to get going, and so it's not. He's a great player. He's the greatest player of all time. One of the greatest players of all time.
I was gonna say, that's July talk. All right.
Well, I do like him better than Jordan, but I mean, he's still older at this time, and at some point, by the time catches up with you.
It wasn't LeBron James. Dylan Brooks trying to call him old. Just wait until LeBron
He's just chirping.
Gets that 40 piece on you. To me, this team is all about Anthony Davis. As aggressive as Anthony Davis is going to be on the offensive end, because that's where the Lakers struggled, getting shots. AD just 4-14 from the floor, because Memphis got their role player game. Xavier Tillman, 22 points in his starting lineup. The thing about Memphis is they're not centered around Ja Morant. And that's an incredible thing to be, is when you have a star level player in Ja Morant, but your team can function so well without him. That's a credit to everyone else, the talent on that roster, the fact they have a defensive player of the year. Jaren Jackson, who he had a weird regular season, because there's some games he'll get into foul trouble. We'll play like 25 minutes per game. Not this series, man. He's posted 31-5-4, then 18-9-3, playing 37 and 40 minutes. He has been huge in those first 2 games. And Anthony Davis is going to have to step up. That's going to have to be the matchup head-to-head. AD is going to have to take on that responsibility. And Desmond Bane, who he's the most consistent player. Like Desmond Bane, if he's not playing, then I worry about Memphis.
Then they were hyping the Mountain West player for Colorado State, David Roddy was putting up 3-pointers, and that's where I can compare LeBron James to, because Roddy's kind of big like LeBron, but he looks chubby, but he could move quicker than LeBron, and LeBron's a phenomenal athlete. It's just, Father Time is undefeated. I'm just telling you, these young guys, it's just tougher to get up and down with them. I mean, I understand, there might have been some trash talking that was unnecessary. It was not fair for him to call. It wasn't fair for him to call LeBron James old. That's not fair. But what is fair? I mean, come on. I mean, he realizes, hey, look, I'm a young guy. You're an old dude. Stop trying to be like us. You're too old. And I get that. I get that with the young guys. I hear that all the time from the kids. I try to use the slang term, and the kids look at me and say, Mr. Ned, why are you using that? Why are you saying that? It doesn't sound right coming from you. But, LeBron, they just looked lethargic. It just didn't. And Anthony Davis looks like if he's going to fall, he's going to break. He looks so brittle. It doesn't look like he's, physically can handle it. And he kind of goes the way LeBron goes. He kind of, feels like he's just kind of going through the motions, and, he thinks he's got that superstar status. And so he kind of plays a little nonchalant when he needs to play a little bit tougher, I think. And that's what's going to, help them through this series. But, there's a reason why they're in the playing game.
That you said it. There's a reason why they're the number 7 seed. Memphis is the number 2 seed.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a long series. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk with someone that is young, that is spry, that is destroying the baseball this season. Coming up next, Nolan Jones, Albuquerque Isotopes outfielder, will join us. It is the opening drive here on The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and...
Morning, Nolan. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. So what's it like, the quick turnaround? This is an early start, 11:05, especially after you play a game like last night, just getting kind of ready to get back out there.
Yeah, it's not always easy. But, we're out there playing a game. We're just going, getting ready, and just excited to play every day.
What was the transition like for you? You're a kid that grew up in Pennsylvania. You played collegiately at Virginia. You're drafted by the Guardians, so you're East Coast, Midwest, and then November of last year, you're traded to the Colorado Rockies organization, end up here in the Southwest. What was that time like for you making that adjustment in your career?
Yeah, it's been different. Obviously, getting over to the West Coast on the opposite side of of the country from my family, being away from everybody. But it's all part of it. Starting to get older here, get more used to it, and got a new opportunity. So I think that was the coolest thing for me was at first when I got over here it was a little bit intimidating for me. I'm leaving an organization I was with for 7 years actually. And so it was a little intimidating for me. And obviously I was leaving a lot of really solid friendships behind. But, came over here to Colorado and got to make a bunch of new ones and have really started to know these guys and made some solid friendships already here.
Nolan Jones joining us here on the opening drive. And Nolan, when you're playing baseball at the professional level, guys understand, there's changes, there's a ton of roster movement. What's it like, when you come into a brand new locker room? Do you have to be the one like that's kind of out there and reaching, or was it guys that, hey, they understand the landscape, we're all going through the same thing in that locker room trying to get to the next level? What's the bonding like before a season starts?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, I was pretty anxious thinking about it all off season, getting to spring training, getting to a new clubhouse, trying to meet 1,000 new people. And I actually came out in January to Arizona to start working out at the spring training complex after the trade. And I remember calling my parents on the way home and telling my dad this is going to be the best thing that happened to me. The guys really welcomed me right away. Guys like Ryan McMahon, Brian Servin, Randall Gritchick. There was multiple guys out there that my first day made me feel comfortable, really accepted me, and kind of took me in and made me really feel comfortable. So I think right away there was a really comforting feeling, which made the transition a lot easier for me.
Ryan, this is great. Nolan, this is great. You have a 396 batting average, almost 400. That's just incredible. Tell me a little bit about the altitude. How has that helped you? Do you really think it's something that's really made you a better hitter? Do you like the fact that you're at altitude now, or is there any effect with your conditioning and all those sorts of things that go into training when you're getting ready to play baseball? How has the altitude affected you in this 396 average? Do you think you can get to 400?
I think that the altitude, we notice it on our bodies. I think it definitely takes a toll on your body. You run out of breath quicker, and things like that. As far as batting average, I'm not really sure yet. I think that there's been a couple balls that you put up in the air and, the wind can be blowing, crazy things can happen, and you can find some hits, but I'm not really sure. I haven't gotten to play on the road as much to see the difference in the movement of pitches and the way the ball carries. I mean, I definitely believe that it helps, and I definitely believe that Albuquerque is a fantastic place to hit. But haven't really played on the road enough yet just to see how much that altitude helps. I think there's definitely a difference, but the pitchers definitely feel that there is a bigger difference than the hitters, I believe.
Nolan Jones joining us on the opening drive. A few more minutes. Isotopes. Some day baseball for you out at the Lab. 11:05 first pitch against Oklahoma City. 3 for 5 last night. 3 runs batted in. It was a wild game. You talk about that wind, and you're experiencing some classic Albuquerque spring when you got the gusts going in. You guys were down 11-0 in the fourth, and then come back and make it a 2-run game. What's it like, playing in a ballpark that you can have such different conditions, but also offensively, you can get back in any game?
Yeah, it's exciting. I think that's kind of been the word that I would describe our team with this year is just exciting. We have a really good time. Every day we like to have fun. Our coaching staff, Pedro Lopez, Jordan Pacheco, they like keeping things loose. And we just have a lot of fun. So I think that we were down 11 in the fourth or fifth yesterday, and everyone was like, this is nothing to the Topes. And that was kind of like our saying for the next 2 innings before we started to catch fire. And we got a lot of hot bats, a lot of guys swinging it really well right now. And, we were just out there having fun and put together a little rally. And then Jonathan Morales hit a ball in the bottom of the ninth inning that I thought for sure was sending us home with a win. It just came up a little short. But, it was a good rally. It was a lot of fun. And get back after them today.
A few more minutes. Nolan Jones, Isotopes outfielder, joining us here on The Sports Animal. Your brother Peyton played hockey. He played at Penn State 4 years collegiately, was in the AHL, currently a goaltender in the EIHL. Were you a hockey player? What was the sports you played growing up?
Yeah, so I actually played ice hockey and football as well. I stopped playing hockey my sophomore year of high school. I had a concussion that kind of pushed me towards baseball.
So what kind of hockey player were you? Because you're a big dude, man. You're a great athlete. What did you like about the game, playing ice hockey?
Everything. Hockey has always been my number one, sport love, passion. I love going to watch my brother play. I played left wing for most of my young, short career. But I love everything about hockey. I love supporting my brother every opportunity I can get. And, I'm always his biggest fan.
So growing up in Pennsylvania, were you a Flyers guy? Were you a Penguins guy? Other?
I was a Flyers guy. I got a really cool opportunity growing up to play for a lot of the Philadelphia Flyers as my coaches and their sons on my team. So that was always a really cool opportunity for me, and we got to go, watch some games down there and support our coaches who were, in the NHL or retired from the NHL and go and support my teammates' dads. So it was really cool.
As a man that loves hockey, but a great opportunity as you continue your climb in the Rockies organization. Well, before we let you go, you have experienced Major League Baseball. You made your debut with the Cleveland Guardians last year, and you came out hot right out of the gates. 2 hits in your first game, home run in your second game. What do you remember most about those times, getting your first hit and then your first Major League Baseball home run?
Yeah, I think that when you first get called up to the big leagues, your whole body's in shock. When you work for something your entire life, and then get the opportunity to go out and display it on the world's biggest stage and make your dreams come true. Like that's all I've ever dreamed about as an athlete, and all of us baseball players ever dream about as an athlete. So the fact that I got to go out and have my family, my friends, my girlfriend, my grandmoms fly out and watch me live out my dream. I remember being up at the plate and absolutely full body shake. My first at bat, I was running around. I hit a double, and then I ended up going to third on a little overthrow. I remember sliding into third and standing up and just ear to ear smiling with no feeling in my body. And I'm just like, did that really just happen? I said, did that really just happen? And our third base coach was like, you're a big leaguer. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was such a surreal feeling to finally live out my dream of something I've worked so hard for so long.
Well, keep grinding, man. You're off to a fantastic start. I know we'll see you up in the big leagues again soon. you're up with the team a little bit this past weekend, but I really appreciate the time. Awesome stories, and good luck the rest of the season, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. That is Nolan Jones. Just fantastic stuff there from the Isotopes outfielder, hitting .396. Ned James trying to pressure him to be like Ted Williams and hit 400 on the season.
The heat is on.
But it's fun baseball. Great series. Topes 10-7 split the first two games with the OKC Dodgers back at it today. 11:05 first pitch. You can hear that game right here on the Sports Animal. JJ Buck Amory, Ned James with you on the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Sports Animal, proud to be a Cumulus media station.
Even if they're not that proud of us.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM, with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and JJ Buck.
Great stuff there from Nolan Jones. If you missed it, it will be up on the podcast. You can listen to the opening drive, all our interviews, wherever you find your podcast, to search the opening drive. So great stuff. Whether you want to hear us discussing some topics within an hour, those interviews like Nolan Jones, who was just awesome, you can find it wherever you get your podcast. JJ Buck, A. Marie, joined by our quarterback, Ned James, this morning on the road in Nashville. Our Titans insider dropping some nuggets. He's been in those draft rooms. He knows what it's like. We're a week away from the NFL draft next Thursday night in Kansas City. Roger Goodell, the commissioner, is going to be stepping up to the podium saying the Carolina Panthers are on the clock. But part of the process is you just try to get as much information on these guys as you can, because you hope that they become a big part of your franchise. You're going to hand them a contract. You're going to have to rely on them. And, you know, some people are going to make mistakes. But are you going to be able to overcome those mistakes? Or is that going to hold you back? Is that going to be an issue? And one of those players that has some questions is Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle from Georgia. He could be the best overall player in this draft. When he was on the field for the Georgia Bulldogs, people pointed at the defensive tackle saying, dude, that's the best guy on the field. He is a difference maker. This is, you know, someone that could be Aaron Donald-like in terms of you put him in the middle of your defense and he opens everything else up for everyone else. But there is a question mark. And Jalen Carter, if you recall, was involved in an incident. And that incident occurred after the championship parade when one of his teammates, a Georgia Bulldog staffer, they were in a separate vehicle. And they appeared to be racing with Jalen Carter, who was driving his vehicle, and the others were going 104 miles per hour. That car crashed. Those two passed away at the scene, and Jalen Carter drove off. And then, you know, as days went on, he turned himself in. He was talking to authorities, and there was, of course, alcohol involved in the crash. Now, Jalen Carter didn't cause a crash. We knew that when we were talking about this story, we're not necessarily expecting Jalen Carter to immediately jump out and go save these people's lives that were just in a car crash over 100 miles per hour. But it's a giant red flag where, all right, you guys made a bad decision. There was an accident, but you drive off. And then that raises, you know, accountability questions. Right. And, you know, at that moment, I said, yeah, I'd put Jalen Carter to the side. I would have to do my due diligence to say, was this just the worst mistake of this kid's life, or is there something more? Like, you just witnessed a horrible incident. You freaked out. You drove off. Okay, we got to get to the bottom of this. Well, Brad Holmes, the general manager for the Detroit Lions, who had the 6th overall pick in the draft, said this week that after visiting with Carter, he feels better about the defensive tackle. And Ned, you've been in these situations and in draft rooms talking about prospects. And I know one of them, which is kind of going down this line, Adam Pac-Man Jones.
Oh, yes.
Who falls into this category, a very
so.
Talented player that there was a lot of debate. You were with Tennessee at the time when he was drafted. And how much do you have to go into a player's character, and when do you decide, hey, this was a mistake, we believe this guy can be better, versus this is something that we just can't bring this guy into the organization?
Yeah, I mean, that's tragic what happened, and the fact that poor judgment, probably could have saved lives. Who knows? And it's just horrific. But at the same time, the NFL, and you could say, this might not be the nicest thing or the sanest thing, but it's not social services. I mean, it's a production business. It's the Pac-Man Jones debate, and you're absolutely 100% right, because our GM absolutely did not want to draft Pac-Man Jones, and rightfully so. And he went to the ownership, and there was a battle between the coaching staff and management when it came to drafting Pac-Man Jones. Now, we drafted a corner maybe 2 years prior to Pac-Man in Tennessee by the name of Andre Woolfolk, and you wanted Andre to marry your daughter. He was a great guy. He would read Golf Digest in the locker room, so he was one of those guys who just was looking forward to his career after football. But the bottom line is, what do you do on Sunday? And that's why he wasn't in the league very long, because he was more concerned about maybe not getting hurt and keeping his golf game looking good. Whereas Pac-Man Jones, he's shooting dice in the projects in Dodge City here in Nashville with the guys at the project. So, but on Sundays, he could light it up. And those are the decisions you have to make. And you have a need. If you have a need at that position, we were losing two guys in free agency. One was a punt returner in Derek Mason, and Samari Rowe was a Pro Bowl corner. And Pac was the number one defensive back on the board. There was another guy who was a better character guy, but we knew eventually that guy, Edsrel Rowe, would become a safety, and he did become a safety because he was too big to play corner. And so you have to decide, and the coach is telling us, hey, you can all look at his faults, Pac-Man's faults, but at the end of the day, we're trying to feed our families. Now, we could go get a nice guy, but we're not going to win any games, and we're going to all be out of a job. But if we draft this guy, this guy is potentially, going to save us. And that's what it comes down to in a lot of cases. And people think that Ned, that's kind of hyperbole. But at the end of the day, these guys have been evaluated. You know who the top talent is on the board, and you have this board for a reason, and you have all their faults. You have, Pac-Man came out of the womb with felonies, and so we knew he was a bad kid. They do background checks on these guys from, all the way back in high school, so they know everything about these guys. So it's just one of those things.
Eventually, like when you look at Adam Jones and his career and what he's doing now, he got it together. He played football. He made some plays.
He played almost 14 years. You don't play that long in that league unless you can play. Yeah, and guys figure it out. Guys are young. Guys make mistakes. We've all been there. But for the grace of God, go a lot of us. But in this case, it worked out with Adam, even though he had some stumbling blocks along the way. It was a nightmare, a PR nightmare, and that's where the problem becomes. If something happens with Jalen, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to cause ticket sales to drop, sponsors to drop out. All those kind of things are a factor. So you really have to weigh those. And I think the GM was trying to weigh that with us, with Pac-Man Jones. But Jeff Fisher fought, and Jeff was a defensive guy. So he had played corner. So that helps, because you can't take the alternative. You say, hey, they're trying to sell you on the guy that's right below him, and you're going, no, this guy is the best guy. And so that's what happens. A lot of times they'll try to sell another guy who's probably a stronger character guy. But sometimes those stronger character guys, they get the cash in hand and they start reading Golf Digest. They want to look at their career after football. They're not really in it. I mean, I saw Woolfolk in college at Oklahoma. I thought he was just a banger, just a great. But then he got in, and I kept saying, how come this guy can't cover our guys in practice? We got free agents out here. He can't. And the guys are telling me, the guy likes golf. He likes playing golf. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now, we drafted him in the first round. What do you mean he likes golf? And so it's just those kind of things. You just never know. You get guys that come in, they're good guys, and maybe they don't want to play football. And I'm not saying all the bad guys want to play football and all the good guys don't. I mean, there's good guys. There's great guys that come into the league and have long careers. But, you just never know.
It's this process.
The talent has to.
Right? It's an unexact science. You do all this work, but there's team fit, there's off
chemistry,
the field, there's timing. Like, there's so much that goes into it. You're absolutely right. And I think that's also what is fascinating about this process, just from a fan standpoint of the hope it brings. But it is a roll of the dice.
Yeah, and with Jalen Carter, and it doesn't matter if it's C.J. Stroud or Will Levis, all these guys. I mean, it's just you just never know once you get them in. That's why it's like a 60% hit with first rounders. You get guys in. There's injuries. There's all kinds of things that come up. So you just really have to go with what your instinct is. I mean, we really kind of rallied around. We really tried to help Pack his first couple of years in there. We tried to call him Adam Jones. We almost it's a long story. I'll tell you one day about he and I almost get into it about the Pac-Man thing, the video game name, and so it's just those kind of things. You just have to have support around him. You have to and in Pac's defense, he might have had his issues, but one of his issues was not loving the game and playing the game. That was not his issue. It was never his issue because he was one of those guys that he might have been a hellraiser Monday through Saturday, but on Sundays, I mean, he was like Napoleon in the locker room. Like he could lead men, not just football players, but he could lead men, which was, for a guy who was 5'9", a short guy to stand up and challenge guys, 6'5", 300-something pound, guys who could just, are like buses, is saying a lot about the guy. So, I mean, it was a lot of, he had a lot of, he was really intellectually pretty bright. He had his other issues, but, those kind of things you weigh. And so that's what happens with the draft. That's why you have scouts. That's why you have talent evaluators. They do psych evals. They do everything on these guys. So it's just fascinating that the draft comes and, you have these things that leak out. And so you're going to find out a lot about these young men, but at the same time, they're going to have to play one day.
Yeah, always take things with a grain of salt because it is draft season. It's smokescreen season. A lot of headlines over the next week getting ready for the NFL draft. 505-246-0610, 377 Brewery Hotline, the Sports Animal text line this morning. Development, it is hard to see the future, and these draft prospects are great case studies about sometimes you got to take the long road. It is opening drive here on the Sports Animal.
The Jim Rome Show.
MLB's new rule change.
Pitch. There's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. Upstairs goes the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, LaCueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there as La Cueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch, and she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get one run back. That one's hit on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her. Whoa, what a play.
Next door or something. Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the plate. It's sliding, and that will do it. The Rams walk off the La Cueva Bears. It's a 3-run batted in shot by Dean Ellison.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Up with Nolan Jones, the Topes outfielder. He was fantastic this morning. If you missed that interview,
It's up.
it's up. You can listen to it on the podcast. Ned James putting the pressure on him to hit 400 this season. Who does he think he is? Ted Williams? We'll see. The dude's hitting 396 to start the season. Ice Topes playing fun baseball. Split the first 2 games with the OKC Dodgers. 11:05 first pitch. So you can go get some brunch out at the lab today. But you also got men's tennis this afternoon. Lobos playing for a Mountain West regular season championship. Mountain West women's golf tournament is going on. The Lobos 4 shots behind San Jose State, entering the final round for first place. So very busy. By the way, they're going to open the New Mexico Mutual Champions Training Center today officially, and that's big time for the student athletes out there. You've been to University Stadium, you saw all that construction. That's a brand new weight room for the athletes on campus, and that's a big deal for those student athletes out there. JJ Buck-Amory, our quarterback, Ned James with you this morning. And working out, Ned, what is that a part of? It's a part of development. As we look at the future and we try to predict the future, that's what the NFL draft is. That's what a lot of us try to do in sport, is predict the future. I found it really interesting. They did a story on CBSSports.com looking back at some of the top draft prospects when they were in high school. And it just goes to show you just never know. Because the talent, late bloomer, where do you go? What is your work ethic? Because you got like Will Levis. He was a 3-star quarterback coming out of high school, and he could be the second or third quarterback drafted in the NFL draft. And this is a name I know that you've brought up, and it's one of the top offensive linemen in the draft, Osiris Torrance. So this is a kid that was a 3-star prospect coming out of high school. He was playing defensive tackle, Louisiana high school 2A football. He went on to play at Louisiana, then transferred to Florida in 2022, where he became an AP first team All-American. And these are the stories, man, from 2 3-star high school kid, the first round NFL draft pick.
Yeah, it's interesting. Osiris Torrance is in that article because I know a guy who I coached. Well, I didn't coach him. I coached in Seattle, and he played. He was an offensive lineman, and I coached wide receivers, and we became good friends. And so I've known him for years, and he called me about a young man, and we talk over the years. And I talk to guys all the time, basketball guys, football guys, and, you know, guys will tell you about players. And he was telling me about a kid he had. He was a middle school kid. He was 300 pounds. He was awkward, had some family issues, and he was coaching these kids, and he wanted to get into coaching. And it's a little small town in Louisiana. Amite, Louisiana is where Osiris is from. And he began to train and teach these guys how to play. And then he became the offensive line coach at their high school. And he says, Ned, he says, this guy's 300 pounds, but he's a great player. He's going to be a great – and James Atkins is a good coach. He was coached by Howard Mudd, the Hall of Fame offensive line coach. And so it's just, like you said, in the development, you know, it's at all stages. It's coaching. It's your will. It's, you know, people have, you know, they want to strive to help their family, which is what Osiris was striving to do, is to help his family out of some difficult situations. And, you know, lo and behold, the guy becomes, you know, the top offensive lineman in the series NFL draft. And James Atkins, I mean, he's probably the one guy that probably doesn't get any credit. But, you know, it starts at the early stages. Here's a guy that developed a guy at high school. Now, he went on to college and played well, but he's got NFL coaching from the time he was in middle school. And I feel sorry for Austin because when Austin goes to middle school, here's this guy who's 300 pounds. He's in 8th grade, and he's telling me the guy wears a size 16 shoe, and he's in middle school. And I'm thinking that just doesn't happen. And he's saying, yeah, this guy. And it takes someone that these kids can look up to, you know, like a James Atkins, who's a great guy, family guy, church guy, to bring these kids along who come from these difficult circumstances. And this is the results of it. You know, it just takes a village. You know, you see that it takes a lot of people in a development. And some people are too quick. And I point out, you know, I was always thinking about the kid at the New York Jets, this Zach Wilson. Nobody likes this Zach Wilson. And I told you before I liked Mac Jones coming out, but I've changed my opinion. I kind of see this Zach Wilson as a guy that just needs some development, and everybody's kind of down on him because he said a few things that weren't really popular. But sometimes it just takes development. I know Aaron Rodgers is possibly coming to New York, but it just takes time and it takes patience in developing. And it all depends on the coaching. It depends on, you know, what kind of system you're in. And so it's a lot of factors, and that's great. It's a great story. These 3-star, and I always tease you. I say all the best players come out of Texas high school or California high school football in order to play quarterback in the NFL. But a lot of times, you know, it's these little instances where, you know, and we even talked about it with the baseball player Nolan. You know, he had the Philadelphia Flyers players and former and some former players and guys who were on the team coaching him in hockey. It just takes that kind of community involvement to develop guys a lot of times, and you see what happens. I mean, Osiris being a first-round draft pick is just amazing to me because I just remember James talking about him all the time, you know, years ago when he said he couldn't believe these kids were so big in high school, and he said he was just James absolutely loved coaching high school kids. And he just said, hey, you know, he developed these kids from his mouth. It's the same. He comes from the same hometown as the receiver from the Eagles, Devin Smith. Is that his name, from Alabama?
Oh, Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith. Yeah, they're all from that same little country town outside of New Orleans, Amite, Louisiana. And so that's where Osiris is from. And so it's a great story of a young man who comes from literally nothing to become a first-round draft pick offensive lineman. And like you said, you know, like they coming out of these 2A and 3A programs. Nobody's ever heard of them. 3-star, you know, I mean 2A, 2-star and 3-star prospects, but they develop, and they have the right frame of mind. They have the right base because they've been coached and taught at an early age. James was able to teach these guys offensive line play from a professional standpoint at an early age in middle school and high school. And Osiris was able to take that knowledge and turn himself into a first-round draft pick.
Well, speaking of development, this AFC North team is going all in, and could it push them past the fully guaranteed player? That's next here on the opening drive, 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Where are you having your graduation parties? Wedding season is upon us. I have a venue for you. It's 377 Brewery. It is located on the corner of Yale and Gibson, the northwest corner. It is family friendly. It is locally owned, and it's a beautiful brewery. Within the back of the brewery, there's this beautiful event space that's connected to a garage that's connected to a big, beautiful patio. You can hold up to 150 people between both the spaces. I have been personally to a military retirement party there, an engagement party. I know a bunch of graduation parties are being booked there. I need to tell you, this is the place to have your events. It's a beautiful space, TVs, great sound. It is the perfect place for you to hold your personal event, whatever it may be. 377 Brewery caters to you too. They have an amazing menu available with all your favorites. Just check it out. Check it out at 377brewery.com or go check them out on the northwest corner of Yale and Gibson.
Last year, you get...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting Discover Western.
Kenny Pickett, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're giving Kenny Pickett some weapons. They're building an offense around this young man. Is it the next Ben Roethlisberger? Not so sure about that. But can this team contend in the AFC, even when you're trying to chase down Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow? Oh, yeah, Trevor Lawrence is coming. You still got Justin Herbert there. Work to do, but the Steelers are making the right moves. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, A. Marie, our quarterback, Ned James. Symbieta back tomorrow from his little PTO. But the Steelers, they brought in a veteran wide receiver, a trade with the Los Angeles Rams. You know, Rams still trying to figure out what they're doing, retooling, rebuilding. Matthew Stafford, questionable coming off that elbow injury. He talked about that coming into this week, saying he's probably not going to be the same Matthew Stafford, but he hopes to play next season. So if you're the Rams, you're working around cap issues, the fact you have an Aaron Donald, you have a Cooper Kupp, you got a Matthew Stafford, but you know what matters? Got a championship. They got that ring. So they're moving on some veteran players, and this time Allen Robinson was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, a move that was mainly about money. They swapped 7th-round picks, just holding on to a dead cap hit, but just to clear some space. But now if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got Kenny Pickett, showed some promise. I don't know what ceiling we're putting on Kenny Pickett right now, but now that's an offense that you have veteran wide receiver Allen Robinson, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, who has high level number 2 stuff in the NFL, Pat Freiermuth, Zach Gentry, Albuquerque kid re-signed as a rotational player, Najee Harris. They're going all in around Kenny Pickett, and this is a team that everyone looks at Deshaun Watson and Cleveland Browns, that fully guaranteed contract. Now we should be looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers as the team to nip at the heels of the Cincinnati Bengals next year with what they're doing offensively.
Yeah, I was surprised the Rams gave up on Allen Robinson so quick. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to give up on Matthew Stafford, but they really can't because of the hit? We don't know. I mean, I don't know if McVay just has maybe a better love affair with him than the wide receiver. It's interesting because I talked to Eric Yarber, who's the receivers coach with the Rams, and he didn't mention anything about Allen Robinson, so I guess he maybe didn't want to get that out. He didn't say much about their receiving core, but I've known Eric a long time. And the fact that, Pickett's going to have a veteran wide receiver, it will be good for him. Pickett should look to, kind of reap the fruits of his hard work to become the starter. I know it was kind of slow going for him at first, but now he's kind of solidified as the starter. I think Allen Robinson is a good receiver. It just didn't work as well as maybe Sean McVay may have liked in Los Angeles. They may have wanted him to take a pay cut. He didn't want to do that. So as a result. He's on the Pittsburgh Steelers now, and it will help Pickett. I mean, having a veteran receiver will help him. He doesn't come off as a diva, so we'll see. It's tough with these receivers. You got to get them balls or else they kind of start whining, but he doesn't seem to come off as one of those type of guys. So we'll see. I think Pickett, really has something nice to work with. And the Steelers, they expect excellence in Pittsburgh, so they've got to get to the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs last year, and there's going to be some expectation for them to make the playoffs at least.
Yeah, even with Deshaun Watson coming back full offseason, he's going to be with the team. He's a fully guaranteed man. I think I like the Steelers as the number 2 team
Absolutely.
in the AFC North right now. TJ Watt healthy. We know that he can be one of the best, if not the best, defensive players in the NFL when he's on. And this is a solid move because Kenny Pickett, he's a quarterback that. What are we looking at? Are we looking at a guy that can get you to the playoffs, can win a playoff game? I think we are. And, if you find one of those guys, it feels like Kenny Pickett is probably going to be the quarterback, which it's best case scenario. Like, he's good, you're winning games, but you might feel like you want more. One of those guys, whether it's Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, guys like that, where, hey, they're successful quarterbacks, but you might be feeling like you want more.
But you just ramped up the pressure now. You picked him as number 2. You picked him number 2 over Deshaun Watson, who is a $230 million guaranteed man. There's a reason why a guy gets $230 million in that league guaranteed. You got to be pretty good.
The reason
Pickett hasn't proven. He's proven. Deshaun's proven. He's a proven. You don't get $230 million unless you're a little bit proven, and he's been proven to be a good and a winning quarterback. So we'll see how that works out between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And I know we're not mentioning Baltimore because of their contractual situation with their guy, but that's kind of and Pittsburgh, like you said, they do expect to win, and people are just automatically assuming Cincinnati's going to be back to their championship form because of Burrow.
I'm assuming that.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I really like Cleveland in that division with Deshaun Watson. I think he's kind of that new age style of quarterback. We're going to see if it works in Cleveland. But Pittsburgh, I think they got they got some
it's
good
a ton
weapons.
of pressure, because
I
did not say Lamar Jackson in Baltimore as number 2. I didn't. That did not come out of my mouth. I'm an Lamar Jackson advocate. If you've been listening to this show, and I think Baltimore
JJ's a big Lamar
really
advocate.
Good, but I really like what the Steelers are doing overall.
I do as well. And also, Steelers are always competitive. They were only 1 game behind the Baltimore Ravens this past season, and I trust Mike Tomlin more than I do Kevin Stefanski at this point and what he does as a coach. So I'm with you, JJ. And Kenny Pickett won majority of his games most of the season too. I mean, they started off with Mr. Trubisky.
Like the AFC North could be the division that we thought
very
the AFC
competitive
West was going to be last year. But if Baltimore figures it out with Lamar Jackson,
and if
because
Deshaun Watson
win
is
a lot of regular season games,
the usual Deshaun Watson, we only saw 6 games last year, and the Browns were a mess. So
that could be a really fun division. But if you have a young quarterback, Pittsburgh's doing the right thing. They got young talent around him. They brought in a veteran wide receiver, and they're set. They're going to have a really good 3 wide receiver set. Pat Freiermuth is a solid tight end. Najee Harris is a durable, dependable running back. And so they're on the right path. And, speaking of a guy that was able to take a big step last season, Tua Tagovailoa with the Miami Dolphins, he spoke this week, actually yesterday, talking about his offseason, what he's doing to work on himself. He's using jiu-jitsu to learn how to fall. And there's only so much you can do when those, as I said, those large men in the NFL are hitting you and taking you to the ground. But he talked about, the questions that he faced when he was talking with his family and his wife in the offseason. Should he get back on the football field? And he still had that passion. He has love for the game. He's cleared to come back next season. And Terry sent an email. He said, would Ned advise Tua to keep playing with his concussion issues, knowing what Ned has seen over the years? And I think it's only natural for, as what happened to Tua last year, that those thoughts might cross his mind of, should I keep playing after what I've been through? But, when you get to that decision, you got to be all in. There's got to be no hesitation. It doesn't feel like at this point for Tua there's any hesitation moving forward.
Yeah, it's strange how I get that question asked a lot, from people concerned about my well-being. I don't know if I'm exhibiting signs of falling off or dementia or something, but I've been asked that question. Hey, Ned, if you had to do it all over again, would you do it? Knowing what you know about concussions and knowing what you know, what it's done to some of the players, would you do it again? Would you advise them to do it again? And there's just nothing like being in the arena. And I think, being a quarterback that's been in that arena, and I think I still have a couple marbles up there that are working okay. And it's unfortunate that some guys have had concussion effects for a good part of their adult and older life. But, you have each man you have to talk to independently about, his love of the game. And but me, if they told me I could go out there and play one more time and I'd have concussion and I'd have, I've got about 20 summers left, I'm guessing, of life. But, I'm saying if they told me that I could, you give up a couple of those summers to go back out there and play again, I don't know, I might have to try it again. But it's just one of those things, football is just one of those sports that, particularly the quarterback position, it's just, there's no feeling like it when you're out there playing and your teammates being in the locker room, traveling with your teammates, all those things you just miss from your youth, and what it brought to you as a person. It kind of made you who you are, and I think that's what Tua is battling and dealing with. I know you have family, and there's a big risk to it, but there's also a great reward too. And I think a lot of people miss out on the fact that we feel rewarded having the opportunity to be talented enough to start and play quarterback, because a lot of kids play quarterback and a lot of them don't get to get out on the field and show their talents because there's somebody a little bit better than them ahead. And I had that issue come to me, and that's probably why I had to stop playing, because there's someone that's always going to be a little bit better. So, but it was great, and I think from Tua's standpoint, I see where he's coming from playing that position, and just what he's had to deal with. But at the same time, I do understand the love and the passion for the game and why he's decided to come back and play.
505-246-0610, 377 Brewery Hotline, the Sports Animal text line. What happened yesterday down in Las Cruces, a lawsuit had to happen. It's coming up next here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
So news yesterday came out highlighting why the New Mexico State men's basketball program was shut down. There was a lot of talk, the allegations, rumors, but the lawsuit was officially filed yesterday, and it's something that, man, it's you look at it, it's frustrating. It upsets you. Like, how did we get here? What's going on? And there's going to be a lot of questions. And I know there was some reaction because the lawsuit was filed Wednesday against university officials, basketball coaches, and players in connections with the assault allegations. The suit was filed in district court against the New Mexico State Board of Regents, former head coach Greg Heyer, assistant coach Dominic Taylor, former players Kim Aiken Jr., Dr. Bradley, and DeShondre Washington. It was filed by the players that were alleging that they were assaulted in this Deuce Benjamin Jr. and Shakiro Odunuwu. And, this is one that, as it plays out, what we're going to find out about this story, what's true, it's a lawsuit right now. No criminal charges have been filed in connection with any of the incidents with those involved in the lawsuit. But there's a lot, and especially with Deuce Benjamin putting his name in the transfer portal the other day, then this lawsuit comes to light. You have some people saying, oh, he's just retaliating for the new coach saying you got to leave the program. No, this is a mess that still needs to be cleaned up at New Mexico State. And with these allegations, here's the thing. There's going to be an investigation, everything that comes with this, but they put their names on it. And this is one that for Deuce Benjamin, for Shakiru Odunuwu, like, they can't run from it. Like, their names are right there. And everyone's, immediately going to be pointing to, oh, no, it's retaliation from a player. No, this is just something that needs to be addressed. And the allegations are serious. There are sexual assault allegations against those players. There are allegations that it was brought up to leadership, to coaches, and nothing was done. And this is one you have to get to the bottom of. This is players deserve to have people held accountable for the actions, if true. And if so, you want to make sure that those people are never around student athletes, let alone anyone else coaching basketball. And there's a reason that they shut down that program last year, because there are very serious allegations that need to be addressed. And we'll see what happens moving forward. JJ Buck, Amory, our quarterback, Ned James.
Oh, I'm sorry. My headphones were off. Okay. No, I was just saying the enterprise of basketball is going to be tested here, because at the root of the issue is what happened in the locker room, or what happened in training rooms, what happened on the road, those kind of things. Those are the issues that are going to be brought up as it pertains to the basketball program. And I think, like you said, there's serious allegations. There's no criminal charges. Are these, I know sexual assault, you really have to, be careful when you use the word hazing alongside it. It's not hazing. When guys are doing these kind of things, people want to generalize all of hazing, and, some sort of hazing that goes on within all different kinds of sports. But at this particular incident, it rose to another level, and people are affected by it. And so we're going to see in this civil case, who's going to be held accountable, why this type of behavior was not put to rest or put to bed earlier. And that's what I think everybody wants to know, and wants to see what exactly happened, why it happened, when it happened, and how long it happened. And so this is very, very, like you said, frustrating. But at the same time, we need to wait and see. We need to wait and see how this all plays out. It's not fair to both sides unless we address the allegations and in open court and through depositions and find out exactly what happened.
505-246-0610, the 377 Brewer hotline, the Sports Animal text line. Tonight, Sacramento at Golden State. So Sacramento's been big on the cowbell. Like, you can bring your cowbells and and swing it. However, they will be confiscated. You cannot bring your cowbells.
Cannot be trusted.
Into Golden State home game. So if you're a Kings fan,
keep your cowbell at home.
Your cowbell will be confiscated. Now you can get it back after the game.
Oh, okay.
But Golden State not messing around with that cowbell. Down 2-0, no Draymond Green. And this is one that it's been fascinating. People have been blowing up. People are saying the NBA is punishing the fans for not allowing Draymond Green to play Game 3.
They're punishing the fans.
You know when your parents used to count, like, I'm going to count to 3, and if you don't do it, I swear, like, how many chances is this guy going to get? He's not learning.
I'm not, and that's why I'm not sad about it.
I'm not sad about it either.
Most people aren't sad about it because they know it's Draymond.
Punishing fans. Get
okay,
out of here.
Draymond. This is just a slap on the wrist anyway.
It is. No, just a game. Now the Warriors got to man up and see what they can do without Draymond Green in the lineup, down 2-0 to the Sacramento Kings. I want to thank Nolan Jones, Albuquerque Isotopes outfielder. You can listen to Josh Ushon and the Topes right around the corner, 11:05 first pitch at the Lab. And that came on the Sports Animal. Ned, always appreciate you, my man. Enjoy your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
morning.
me.
Amory, great stuff. Have fun today.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day. Jeff Symbieta back tomorrow. We get a little bit of Rome. We got Topes baseball. We got Cowherd. 2 men on today. Adrian, appreciate you, everybody. Medal of Peace and Love. We'll talk tomorrow.
see.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air